Okay, yep. So hello everyone. Welcome to the GFL Talk broadcast. Today, me and a very obviously respected member of the league, Joker, will be talking about the league on today's Five Sports podcast. Obviously, the season has got a lot ahead of it. There's going to be different teams who are in the first division, more divisions. Unlike last season, they've included a new Division 3 this season to, add more achievement to be reached this season. But I think it's a really exciting update, obviously, that they've added. Joker, what are your opinions on the new season in GFL?
It's gonna be obviously very, uh, very exciting because we have three divisions now for the first time in the history of this league. It's the most we've ever had was two. Now we got three divisions. That's gonna be exciting, and I look forward to it.
And also a huge influx of players that have come from different types of competitions in the league, like or in different leagues, like obviously VRF, MMP, lots of different leagues, and they're all being inherited to this league with new players coming. And it's a very exciting season. Um, anyways, we're going to be discussing the first thing, um,
Hmm.
important transfers. So, first we're starting off with Malenciaga to Cavite FC. This player, known as Makalele, was very popular in many different leagues and was known for having a really good reputation. How do you think he's going to do at Cavite, Joker? He's a very good player, in my opinion.
Um, I mean, Fisher in general have built a very strong squad. Honestly, they might even be favorites for the title. Many make them favorites for the drop, but I definitely wouldn't agree on that. I've seen them play against Amphiali in the cup, and if they get a bit more chemistry and take the match more seriously, it's gonna be hard to beat them.
But Valenciaga on his own is a very good player, and he could add a lot of depth and strength to the squad of Cavite. Something extremely important that the team needs in order to possibly become winners of the league.
Yeah.
Anyways, second discussion: Hugo Sanchez to Panetolikos FC. A Europa League winner with Cobb Ramblers. Don't tell me about it much more, to be honest. Who played for Cobb as a midfielder, who had a lot of great link up and a lot of vision and passing accuracy and could create lots of good chances for Cobb. Now he's implemented himself into the Greek league with Panetolikos, or Strex Panetolikos, signing him. How do you think he will perform, Joker? Do you think he's going to provide a lot for Panetolikos?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Panetolikos didn't get a good start on the league, honestly, and I think that he's gonna help them a lot, and he's gonna be vital for their survival in the league, and even maybe a mid-table finish.
I mean, Panetolikos are definitely not favourites to even get into Europe. I mean, the
Yeah.
squad is pretty, well, not weak, I'm not going to say they're weak, but not as big, doesn't have a big uplift like the other squads. I mean, with other different squads, you see teams like Ike, Offi Crete,
Mm-hmm.
Aris, and obviously Panathinaikos and Kfisia. All of those teams have really strong squads. Panathinaikos, on the other hand, might need a big uplift from the signing of Hugo Sanchez. So let's see what Hugo Sanchez will bring to Panathinaikos in the new upcoming season. Third transfer, Spectre to Ofi. What is your opinion on that, Joker? I mean, to be honest, I think Spectre is a very strong player in terms of many different
This
things.
one, this one is a good one. I mean, um, I've seen him play. I know that he's good friends with Unknown, the other Offie creator striker, and this one is gonna be trouble to the defenders.
A
That's
very
for sure.
dangerous link up. A very, very dangerous link up. Spectavert is
Yeah.
obviously a very strong player. I've seen him play in multiple different leagues as well. I think he would be able to bring a lot to Offie in terms of, you know, goal scoring and passing, etc. And obviously Offie Critter have been runners up to the title twice in hopes to beat Ike in the title race. However, with some signings, Offie Critter will hope to make a difference. And the last but not least, obviously Joker, the Nicky Valou manager, will be very happy with the signing. Kvaradonna, what is your opinion on this Joker? Do you think that he's going to be a good player for your team?
Yeah. I mean, we discussed a lot on where he would eventually end up, and he chose us. I mean, he's definitely way above the second division. His level is way above the second division, so I'm very pleased that he chose to come to us. I've seen him in a friendly. I've managed him before. I mean, he's a top class player, and his experience is greatly needed in order for us to get the promotion.
And I feel like Kvaradonna obviously has a lot of different experiences as well. From what I've seen from him, he's a very strong-sided player with hopes to bring some passion and hopefully some threat to other teams that play against Nicky Valou.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, on to the next topic. There is a predicted Chat GPT table this season. Now, from what we see this season, Ike will win the league again with the Chat GPT predicted table. Offie Creta will finish second. Olympiacos will finish third. Kavisia fourth. Panathinaikos fifth. Panathinaikos sixth. Aris seventh. Asteras just escape relegation, and Panathinaikos and Panachaiki get relegated. Is this unrealistic at
Well,
all? Hmm.
I'm gonna tell you. I mean, Ike winning the league wouldn't surprise me. I mean, they're obviously favorites to do three in a row, and that would also be, I think, historic. I think nobody has done three in a row, so they would break the record once again. Offie finishing runners up for the second time. I think no, they didn't
Third.
finish second
Third,
last season.
actually. Third.
Yeah,
Can't believe that.
I mean, I don't think that Purple Way would be happy with finishing second, but it would give him Champions League football. So maybe he would take it. If you gave him that table, maybe he would take it. Then Olympiacos third. I think they could do that, but there are certainly more experienced squads in the league, so I wouldn't really tip them to finish third. Kifisia fourth. Now that could be possible, third or fourth. It wouldn't surprise me, even if many tip them for the drop. Panathinaikos fifth. I mean, that would mostly be from Champions League fatigue. I wouldn't really agree on that. I would tip them to finish third, at least third with the squad they got. Panathinaikos sixth. I would think they would finish after Aris, so I would put Aris sixth, Panathinaikos seventh. Asteras, yeah, they would maybe even finish higher or stay in the division for certain. And Panetolikos and Panahaiki getting relegated wouldn't surprise me a lot.
I
So
think.
I think that fairly it got some predictions correct.
Well, with hope that obviously I feel like the bottom table isn't as accurate as I think it could be be possible to turn out. But honestly, I'm not particularly saying that it's completely impossible for. I mean, some of these teams to have a bad season. I mean, I don't think the Olympiacos will perform bad. I mean, Panathinaikos and Kavisia and and Olympiacos, all three of them finishing quite close to each other, with a 4 point gap between all of them. I mean, honestly, I see it happening, but there are also a lot of different teams that obviously can bring threat, and you know, Ike are one of them teams. So you know,
Mm-hmm.
maybe that's quite possible.
Yeah.
Who
Also, what this season?
There are quite a few players who I think should be in the book of a season to be watched. I mean, to be honest, I feel like there are quite a few players who would be able to get in that book. I feel like with a lot of signings being made, I feel like my first one to watch, actually, I'll state it here. I feel like my first one wants to watch player would be Hugo Sanchez, who we've talked about once in this interview already. Well, not interview, but obviously, podcast. He's brought a lot of hope in the Europa League. And, Panathinaikos are not a very strong squad. So he'll have to provide a lot for Panathinaikos in hope that they would possibly be able to stay up even. And, Hugo Sanchez is one of them players who I think is very good in every single type of book that can be, written about this season. Who do you want to watch?
I would agree, but a player that would most likely set the league on fire if everything goes well for him and his team, I would bet that would be Spektovach because his link up with Unknown and his experience. I think he's gonna have a great time here if he's serious about it and his team welcomes him quickly. I think he's gonna have a great time.
Obviously,
and we're gonna have a great time watching him play, I think.
Spectre, yeah, that's definitely agreeable. Obviously, another player who I think is definitely gonna have to be in the ones to watch this season. Well, I think, Pineda for Ike, a very good player. I think
he's pretty good. He's pretty solid.
He's been very solid. He's scored a few goals for Ike already in the preseason, I'm pretty sure. When I saw yesterday when the match was being streamed. Oh no, that's Avian. But yeah, Pineda. I think he's obviously the manager. He's still a very good player to watch. Though I think him in midfield can obviously bring a lot to the team. And obviously with, Avian. Isn't Avian Sararita?
A great duo.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, a very great duo.
Sararita, yeah, very good player. With Pineda, I feel like Pineda can be a good player at times. Obviously not a bad player, but, is also a good manager. And can help his team get victories. Another player that might wants to watch this season, without any shadow of a doubt even, would have to be... I think Starring Grace, in my opinion. Now, Starring Grace obviously re-signed to Aris with Kanye, his old teammate and very close friend. I feel like Starring Grace can bring a lot to a team with his defensive strengths and obviously a very attacking mindset when he has vision, can play really good passes and can win the ball back with such aggression. I feel like Starring Grace is definitely one to watch this season. And do you also think that, Joker?
Yes, I've had the pleasure of managing him in Aris in their UCL run, and honestly, I'm gonna say it open in the air. He was my favorite player of that squad because he understood me tactically very well, and he outshone everybody in that squad. And it's a shame that we haven't really worked together many times, but I think he can help Aris a lot. And I wish I had Kanye back then too in my squad, but he had left that season.
Yeah. And one last player before we move on to the next category. Someone who I actually think can win a lot of games for Panathinaikos. Babi's out. I feel like Babi is a very good player, very versatile when he's on the run. I feel like Babi's can definitely bring a lot to Panathinaikos this season if he performs well enough and can bring the passion that obviously they need if they don't manage to do that correctly, then there are a lot of gaps in Panathinaikos. But Barry's will have the courage and the strength to possibly bring a trophy to Panathinaikos this season. Panathinaikos winning the Greek Cup last year, but falling short on any league trophy, I feel like it's quite unfortunate. I mean, obviously, it's not a bad thing, even though they won the Greek Cup, and I think they did win. Did they win the Super Cup as well?
Yeah. They
Yeah,
did the
against
double.
Ike. Yeah, they got a
Yeah.
double. I feel like the thing about Ike is that in the cup their performances aren't too strong these last 2 seasons. But honestly, I am not gonna cut anyone short. I feel like there have been a lot of strengths in multiple different teams this season. That obviously come from one player and one player only. However, Panathinaikos as a team are very strong, and I am obviously not throwing them under the bus.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, they shocked everybody doing the double. It was very unexpected. I mean, honestly, it wasn't weird to me because I know their manager, Aitor. We've won many titles together as well, so I think that with him at the helm, Panathinaikos can also reach higher. And now that they've got Champions League football, they can invest in better transfers with that fame and that status, and they can go further and progress more.
Panathinaikos are definitely a very strong team, and I will have to agree with you on that one. Anyways, next category, and the last. These two promoted teams, Panachaiki and Kafisia, how do you think that they will perform? I mean, personally, I think that Panachaiki will not have as much of a strong start this season. Obviously, because they've just been promoted, but Kafisia, with Evan, I feel like Kafisia is definitely a good team when Evan can be in charge because he can bring a lot to a team. And Panachaiki, obviously, just been promoted and probably one of their first few times having the first, if not the first time, having first division experience. Obviously, I feel like Panachaiki will not do well, and that's why I feel like they'll finish in the bottom half of the table. But I think Kafisha could fare for a Europa League finish here. What do you think about these two teams, Joker?
Well, Panahaiki are a completely different squad. They're not the Panahaiki that won the title in the second division and reached the Greek Cup final. Everybody left. Only a few people from that squad stayed to have that momentum and their experience in winning this title. Their manager is unexperienced and fairly new, and managing in the first division with such competitive teams isn't going to be easy. I don't want to sound harsh, but I would favor them for the drop, like last season. But I hope they can manage something better. And for Kifisia, they've got a strong history. Also, they're not the Kifisia that got promoted. They're a stronger club. They're a stronger side. They've got better transfers. They've got a new manager. They won the league with that manager a few seasons ago. So I would tip them to shock most and finish in a Europa League spot.
I mean, to be honest, I feel like from the time that Kafisha had won the league, I feel like they've definitely had a bit of a
Oh,
crash.
I'm sorry, but I have to reconsider because I didn't know that Larry was in Panahaiki. I mean, he's a very experienced striker. He can bring a lot to the squad. I still would say that they're gonna struggle with getting promoted, but if they use him and utilize his abilities correctly, they can eliminate the chances of dropping to the second division. Panahaiki.
I mean, yeah, Larry's a very experienced striker. Bagged himself, I think, 2 goals. One got disallowed, but I think it's been re-allowed to stand again. But obviously, I think Larry is a very good addition. But that doesn't completely change my opinion on Panachai or Panahaiki. I keep pronouncing it wrong for some reason, but I mean, Larry can bring a lot of clinicality to a squad. So obviously, I'm favouring him to do a good deed. However, Panahaiki will struggle a lot in their
Mm-hmm.
general performance, and that is why I feel like they will definitely finish in a very, very low spot in the table. However, the supporters of Panathinaiki will have passion for their team, and that is all that matters. Anyways, that is it for the GFL talk. We really liked having this conversation, and we like to thank anyone who joined us. Obviously, I sent the live stream a bit later in the Greek League, but if you want to go back, there is a VOD. Well, it's a VOD, so you can watch every single bit of it and see our opinions on absolutely everything. And honestly, it was a pleasure having Joker. He's a very good, reporter and commentator in this league.
Pleasure being invited. Thank you very much for inviting me.
That's no problem, and thank you for coming.
I hope that you will also talk about the second division, where it houses me for this season, and maybe get coverage on that too, because it's gonna be interesting. I can tell you that.
I mean,
sure.
I probably am gonna make a podcast about the second division. I probably will have someone else making the duties of talking with me in this one, because obviously I don't want any favoritism, but obviously you're a very good reporter, and it was a pleasure having you. And I wanted to thank everyone who joined the stream towards the end. Obviously, like I said there, you can watch the VOD back. You can just go back and see every single bit of it, whatever we said. And I wish everyone to have a good evening, and I wish you to have a good evening as well.
Thank you for coming, and good evening.